so disgusted with her behavior, her lack of respect. Jimmy needs to step up and be involved and take stock in what's going on around him.
Y'all, we've seen Chrissy Lampkin and Jim Jones go through it for years. Drama after drama, but nobody saw this coming. According to reports, Jim's own son, Joseph, finally had enough of Chrissy and didn't hold back. And before you think this was just a heat of the moment reaction, sources say this was building up for a long time. Joseph wasn't just reacting to one argument, this was years of frustration coming out all at once. But what really pushed him over the edge, and why did Jim just let it happen? Let's get into it.
Is there still pressure for you and Chrissy to get officially married?
No. You married?
I'm not married.
Your mama married?
My mother wasn't married either.
All right, then. So that should answer your question. Why you worried about me getting married?
I knew you was going to come with it, Jim. I knew you was going to come with it, but as a female, I still had to ask the question.
You're talking to me about something that you haven't fulfilled or your mama hasn't fulfilled. So you should be worried about what's going on in my house. You should try to figure out what's going on in yours.
Okay, but as a fan watching the relationship on television, that is something that fans, we always kind of have that question.
As a fan, you fans need to turn around and see if your mama's married or if your father's married. That's what you fans need to do. And if that's not going on in your household, you fans shouldn't ask me any questions. You dig? I'm only letting people that has grown up in a household that's married, mother and father, and if you are in a marriage. If you're not...
Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin's relationship has been one long, messy roller coaster. They've been together for over a decade, but their story has always been more about drama than stability. Commitment has been a major issue from the beginning. Chrissy wanted a marriage, but Jim never seemed ready to make it official. Fans of love and hip-hop remember when Chrissy took control of the situation and proposed to Jim herself back in 2011. At the time, it seemed like a bold move, but looking back, it was a clear sign that Jim wasn't fully committed. Even after he eventually proposed back, there was still no wedding. The engagement just dragged on, and over the years, it became obvious Jim wasn't going to walk down the aisle. On top of that, infidelity rumors have always been a dark cloud over their relationship. Both Jim and Chrissy have been accused of stepping out, and their trust issues played out publicly. But while fans saw it as just another toxic celebrity relationship, one person was watching it all unfold up close: Jim's son, Joseph. Joseph didn't just see the headlines. He lived through the late-night arguments, the broken promises, and the never-ending cycle of drama. And over time, it changed the way he saw Chrissy. To him, she wasn't just his father's longtime partner, she was part of the problem. For years, Joseph kept his opinions to himself, but behind the scenes, it was clear he had issues with Chrissy. He reportedly never saw her as a stepmother figure and kept his distance. But recently, things escalated in a way no one expected, and Joseph decided he couldn't stay silent anymore. What finally pushed Joseph over the edge? According to reports, it all started when Chrissy confronted Jim over allegations that he was messing around with love and hip-hop star Brooke Bailey.
They are saying that apparently after Jim Jones and Chrissy broke up, which a lot of people didn't even know they broke up, now he's married or engaged to Brooke Bailey. There's a lot to the story. Let's talk about it. First of all, let's take it back to Jim Jones and Chrissy being together and breaking up, okay? So, people didn't know that these two had broken up because they literally were together for like 20-something years. If you know anything about Chrissy Lampkin is a gangster chick. She used to go with Alpo. Y'all know the movie Paid in Full? She was one of the dudes that the story is based off of, main girl in New York back in the day.
Let me tell you guys something. This is the craziest viral that I've ever been in my whole entire life, because I wake up one day, I do my whole routine, read my devotionals and positive stuff, and then I go on my Instagram and I see fake pages you took Jim, and I'm like, I didn't block the page. I said, who is Jim? Because I'm single, so I'm like, who is Jim? You know what I'm saying?
Now, Jim being linked to another woman isn't exactly shocking. Rumors like this have followed him for years, but this time it hit differently. Chrissy, already fed up with years of uncertainty, snapped. Sources say she confronted Jim at their house, and things quickly turned into a heated argument. Joseph was there when it all went down, and for the first time, he openly challenged Chrissy's role in his father's life. It wasn't just about this one incident. This was years of frustration boiling over. He reportedly told Chrissy straight up that she was not his family, that she had overstayed her welcome, and that she was part of the reason Jim's life was in constant chaos. Witnesses say Joseph wasn't just defending his dad. He was making it clear that he was done with her. But here's where things really took a turn. Joseph didn't just stop at words. What he did next left everyone in shock.
Well, you know what? If you didn't leave me to figure it all out by myself, then maybe I can process it a little different. But because I have to deal with it by myself most of the time, this is what you get. I need a break from this.
As the argument between Chrissy and Jim escalated, Joseph was right there, watching the same cycle play out yet again. This time, though, he wasn't just a spectator. According to sources, when Joseph stepped in, Chrissy immediately dismissed him, telling him to stay out of grown folks' business. That's when things took a serious turn. Joseph wasn't a kid anymore, and he wasn't going to sit back and let Chrissy dictate the situation. People close to the situation say that was the moment Joseph snapped. Years of built-up frustration came pouring out, and he let Chrissy know exactly how he felt. He reportedly told her she had no place in their family anymore, that she had brought nothing but drama into his father's life, and that it was time for her to leave, for good. But then, things got physical. Witnesses say Joseph slapped Chrissy and demanded that she get out of their house. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. Jim didn't step in. He didn't try to stop Joseph, didn't defend Chrissy, didn't even say a word to calm the situation down, and that silence spoke volumes. Jim has always been caught between his son and Chrissy, but in this moment, his lack of reaction seemed to say a lot. Some believe he was secretly on Joseph's side and that he might have even seen this coming. Others think Jim was just too overwhelmed to intervene. Either way, the fact that he didn't stop it, that was a major statement. Chrissy was stunned. She had spent over a decade by Jim's side, fought for this relationship, and even put up with years of uncertainty, but in this moment, she realized she might not have the support she thought she did. And then, just like that, she was gone. Reports say Chrissy left the house humiliated. And not in an I'll be back tomorrow kind of way. This time, it felt different. She wasn't just storming out after a fight. She was walking away from a situation that had completely crumbled beneath her. For years, she held on, thinking her loyalty to Jim would secure her place. But after this, it was clear she wasn't as untouchable as she thought. Joseph, on the other hand, didn't seem to regret what he did. In fact, sources say he later justified his actions, telling close family members that he was simply protecting his father. From his perspective, Chrissy had done nothing but create chaos in Jim's life, and he felt it was finally time to put an end to it. And the thing is, some people agreed with him. This wasn't the first time Chrissy had clashed with Jim's family. Over the years, there had been plenty of tension, especially with Jim's mother, Nancy Jones. Nancy never fully accepted Chrissy, and they had their fair share of explosive arguments. Some believe this was just another chapter in the long battle between Chrissy and Jim's family, except this time, it wasn't Nancy leading the charge, it was Joseph. With Chrissy gone, the big question now is, will she try to come back? Because just when people thought this was the end of the road for her, new information surfaced that changed everything.
I've been watching a lot of you trappers and you hustlers and you just running around doing God knows what. And you all got this. You heard? But this got 24-hour surveillance. You heard? Inside and outside the vehicle. You busting moves in this
Joseph's reaction wasn't just about this one explosive night, it had been building for years. People close to the family say he's had issues with Chrissy for a long time, and this incident was just the final straw. Reports suggest that one of the biggest reasons for Joseph's frustration was Chrissy's influence over Jim's finances. Allegedly, Chrissy had tried to control Jim's money and business decisions, often steering him away from opportunities or making choices that benefited her more than him. Some sources claim that Chrissy convinced Jim to turn down deals that could have helped him financially, while others believe she pressured him into spending money in ways that weren't always smart. From Joseph's perspective, this wasn't just about a relationship, it was about his father's well-being. And Joseph wasn't the only one who felt this way. Jim's mother, Mama Jones, has never been shy about her opinions on Chrissy. Over the years, she's openly criticized her, questioning her intentions, and calling her out for not bringing enough to the relationship. Their tension played out publicly on Love and Hip Hop, and fans have seen how deep their issues run. Mama Jones has always believed Chrissy wasn't the right woman for Jim, and she's said multiple times that she didn't trust her. So when Joseph finally stood up to Chrissy, some people speculated that he was just acting on resentment that had been brewing in the family for years. With all this history, some wonder if Jim had been feeling the same way, but just didn't want to be the one to pull the plug on the relationship. Could Joseph have just done what Jim secretly wanted to do all along? The situation raises a bigger question. Was Chrissy's influence on Jim really that harmful, or was she just an easy target for the family's frustrations? So where does this leave Jim and Chrissy? On one hand, Chrissy leaving the house in humiliation seems like a clear sign that things are over, but let's be real, this isn't the first time they've had major relationship problems. The difference now is that Joseph is involved, and if Jim chooses to stand by his son, that could be the final nail in the coffin. The big question is whether Jim will try to repair things with Chrissy, or if he'll finally accept that their relationship has run its course. Some fans believe this is it. Chrissy is out for good. Others think Jim might try to fix things, especially considering how much they've already been through together. A person commented, "Joseph had every right to speak his mind. He has watched this drama play out for years, and if Jim won't step up, somebody has to," another one added. Chrissy thought she was untouchable, but Jim's own son put her in her place. If the family never accepted her after all these years, maybe she was never meant to be there. But one thing's for sure, this situation has left a lot of unanswered questions. What do you guys think? Was Joseph right to step in, or did he take it too far? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for updates on this story.